think we're live. Yes, welcome. And we have, uh, I, yes, I, I was told by a trusted friend that we should start announcing who we are. So, um, even though probably most of our watchers know us, but I'm Jared and this is Betsy, and we are siblings. So, yes.
And Dozer.
Oh, yeah. Dozer's right here. She's needy today. But and maybe one day we should just do a show on why we do the show, I guess. I don't know. But we'll deal with all that another day. Um your
Uh,
yours
How's that?
it helps if your speaker's on. Announce your name again.
I'm Betsy.
Yeah, your microphone was turned clean off. Anyways, but yeah. So today like uh we've been crunched for time, so we don't have as
Oy.
it's been a killer. I've kicked off some new endeavors. Betsy's endeavor is exploding. And so
And so,
we've been having a hard time doing the show. So again, we might have to roll with it and figure out how to do it or something. Unless, we get a rich benefactor that wants to, pay us for
donate.
nothing. Yeah, but well, we'd even have to set that up first.
And you can also buy merch from thewowpod.com.
Yeah.
And that puts a little bit of money into the podcast. Maybe it's motivating.
Yeah.
And helps pay for the time we spend.
We may have to show all of that stuff one day.
Yeah.
I might be able to pull it. But today we're gonna chat about lamb.
Lamb. I wasn't familiar with lamb. So the great, magical, mysterious AleisterCrowley, um, he is he's the thing he's what nightmares are made of. And
yeah.
He's an interesting guy. So we want to do little shows covering the life of Aleister Crowley, kind of in little bite-sized shows.
And we're kind of starting in the middle because there's a lot of interesting stuff before
Total
this.
wackadoodle.
A lot of his most interesting stuff to me is the stuff that happened around World War II.
Yeah.
And this is all according to him, but it's a cool story. But today we're going to just chat about lamb.
So, Aleister Crowley, Englishman,
Yes.
one of the most notorious occultists of his day. Perhaps still one of the most notorious.
Mm-hmm.
He named himself the Beast 666.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he went out of his way to live up to this with his sensationalism and self-promotion. He actually came from a ton of money. He wrote a number of textbooks on ceremonial magic,
Mm-hmm.
most of which you can still get today. They're still in print today. And he also founded and was head of a number of occult fraternities.
Yeah, well, he joined some, and then when he got in and
He lied to him to begin with.
yeah, changed him up.
So, in short, Aleister Crowley was and is still a significant influence on occult circles, and we're talking long after his death, 1875 to 1947.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to talk today about the Ala Mantra workings. So January through March-ish, 1918, this is a long time ago, Crowley began a series of magical workings called the Ala Mantra workings. So the Ala Mantra workings are these series of visions and dreams. He often had dreams, and a lot of the fraternities that he was involved in also had this practice where they would have dreams or make them up. Who knows? Nobody was there. And then they would come in and they would write down these dreams and try to interpret them. So January 14, 1918, this is where it kind of starts with Lamb. He has this dream and he writes it down. this dream is he has this vision of himself being a spreading candlestick with 13 candles. Who counts candles in their dreams? Nobody does, Aleister. Over each flame was the opening of a tube which could hold water as a fountain. These tubes met the flame in and I'm telling you, these are his words, not mine, throbbing vibration. When suddenly part of the candlestick above the stem, or staff, Crowley, broke off and became a crown. So he goes on with this vision.
There's a lot of innuendo talk in here, and just on a side note, Crowley was he did a lot of sex magic. He started the OTO, the Order something with a T, something with an O. He started it, and it's kind of a sex magic-y organization. That's all they revolve around sex magic. It's he explained it as it's such a big spiritual buildup that the release causes a lot of magic, and
he abused it.
well, and he would abuse
Prolifically.
people. I mean,
Yes.
and he was not an individual that cared about whether you were straight or not.
No,
It
it was unimportant.
it didn't matter to him.
So he goes on this dream, and these 13 candles turned to 13 naked women, and there were clouds and mountains and these 4 elements. It's a big thing. The 4 earth elements always show up in his magical rituals. There's a cave and all these things. You can actually read through his Alamantra workings, he calls them. But at some point, he sees a wizard. And we've got a picture of the wizard that he sees.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, I don't know if I guess it kind of looks like a wizard. At any rate.
Well, he claims it was, in some of the tellings, he claimed it was a demon. He claimed it was an interdimensional being.
So the idea is when performing these sexual and ceremonial magic incantations, that you can invoke certain intelligences to physical manifestation.
Mm-hmm.
And
so is that the idea that you make them out of nothing, or you bring them in?
so he talked often about magical portals. So I'm guessing he was under the impression that he was bringing them into a physical manifestation. Where it gets dicey is he goes on in a lot of his writings to say that the physical manifestation of them is just what they look like, and they're not actually there. It's more dreamlike. Kind of like a tear in time and space. So Crowley does these Ala mantra workings, this ritual, over and over and over again. And at one point, he actually sees the picture that we were sharing with you, and he considered it then, 1918.
Yeah. Now this is 1918.
To be of interdimensional origin.
Now, for those not watching, I'll explain it. Picture a gray alien. That's it.
That's it.
Just a gray alien. Exactly what they picture as a gray alien: the big bulbous head, the small chin, little mouth, not pronounced nose, large eyes. And this is in 1918, so this is long before the gray alien becomes
a mainstay.
Yeah.
And
So
and so he draws it.
is this? Yeah, he drew it, and in 1919 at the New York, I don't know, Hippie Arts Festival or whatever 1919 equivalent was, it was on display, and I'm wondering if this isn't not where the idea of the gray alien came from. Because let's say he's right. Let's say these interdimensional beings that come through, and this is one of them. And if this is what they look like.
So he claims that, it's, again, we're not sure if he gave the name to Lamb or if Lamb is part of the All-Lamantra workings, or if this being told Alistair his name. I've heard it lots of different ways.
Well, and Alistair also said he was a llama from a past life, like a, you know.
So, Lamb is the Tibetan word for the way or path, and Lama is he who goeth.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's hard to say where that came from. But imagine this. So, when you see, like really big, super hairy guys, it's reminiscent of Neanderthals.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of the old way, kind of before. Look at Stephen Hawking. Frail, skinny, wildly intelligent.
But he wasn't in a wheelchair early on in his life when he first started being a
No,
physicist.
but he was always frail and skinny.
But he had a debilitating disease.
Uh-huh.
What did he have? It was I don't know, something that over time would wheelchair bound him. But he was always, frail with a big head.
And so
Maybe the hair covered up the bulbousness of the top of his head.
I don't know,
His
but
chin wasn't so weak.
think of the smartest people you know. Are they big, hairy, robust, Neanderthal-looking people?
Some smart people are.
Sure.
You just don't think of the two together.
We just don't associate that. So maybe this, because it was said that this being, Lamb, was giving advice, and in his dream writings, Lamb had all these answers to things, and he was this brilliant, futuristic, interdimensional being. Maybe that's where all of it started, was with this drawing in AleisterCrowley.
The first contact from the future humans?
Or the idea that this is what future humans will look like when we become interdimensional. Think about it.
We need to ask Baron Trump.
We do. Our heads have the shape of our skulls have changed dramatically throughout evolution.
Mm-hmm.
The stature has changed dramatically throughout evolution.
Mm-hmm. A lot of that has to do with availability of food, though.
But what if that's the next iteration?
Is that
as
over
the
time,
availability of food gets less and less and less, we evolve to need less.
Or if we invent machines like
Yeah.
robots,
What if all of our electronics make our heads swell to bulbous
and our bodies
proportions?
get weaker and skinnier?
Yes.
And well, we talked about this when we talked about the gray aliens coming back from the future to kidnap us because they're us in the future, and they've taken emotions out of themselves and they're trying to breed emotions back in.
Yeah.
That was a theory I had a long time ago.
So he has these visions. Or dreams, or I don't know. They're brought on through incantations and rituals and all kinds of things, lighting of candles and all of the things. And then he writes down his dreams. He's introduced to lamb. He either names him or is given his name, comes back and makes a drawing of it, and he displays it at the Dead Souls exhibition in Greenwich Village, New York,
Yeah,
1919.
that's the hippie
Yeah.
thing I was talking about.
And it has become a thing of, it's become its own cult. There's literally the cult of lamb now. And it was said that Aleister Crowley actually spent time with and counseled L. Ron Hubbard.
Yeah, he was and also the Parsons guy, JB Parsons.
Yes.
And they were all in a cult, and we need to do a show on that one day, because the cult they were in, L. Ron Hubbard, I guess, stole his girlfriend, or it was weird. The California cults are the best. So, anyways, let's tell a news story real quick.
Let's tell a news story.
Now, everyone's heard of the. I'm sure everyone's heard of this. The Shanghai lockdown, and how
I saw a video of them welding the doors shut.
Yeah, well, I've seen worse videos. I've seen the videos of people starving, so they resort to throwing themselves out of their buildings.
Is it still going on?
Suicide.
What day are we on?
Week 4, I think, that we know of.
So Shanghai has an official zero COVID policy.
Mm-hmm.
And so they've put the entire city and surrounding areas into complete lockdown.
Yep.
And from what everyone is saying, and again, you just get this from the news, you don't know what's true, but from what everyone's saying, there's plenty of food. There's just no way to get it to them because of this lockdown.
Well, and shockingly, when you weld their door shut and you can't deliver food, how does that work?
Yeah, it is sad. CNN has a couple of journalists that have been there for this whole fiasco. And although I really don't trust CNN, I did watch some of their footage. They've resorted to finding hiding places in these small areas that they're allowed to move about in.
I don't think it's all of Shanghai that's locked down. I think it's because Shanghai is a huge city. I mean, we've got to think Shanghai has, I think, 4 times the amount of people that New York City has in it. So it's like a couple of, I don't know what you call it, boroughs or something that is in full lockdown. And then as they go out from those, they get into different lockdowns. But yeah, they're welding doors shut, arresting people out on the balconies, a whole bunch of stuff. But I wanted to show this, speaking of our technology taking over. They've got these drones. Now the drone says,
Control the soul's desire for freedom.
that is insane.
In the previous clip, you just saw the very same drone that you see here. Use that
And we're talking
look at
about...
This is like a spy. This is like the ultimate in, what would you call it? Mind control drone. It's got a camera to spy on you. It's got a microphone to talk to you, and it patrols the city.
And we're talking about... Okay, so coronavirus is the virus. COVID is the disease you get from the virus. Overall, it, between the two of them, has a 99.7% survival rate.
Here's the one that freaks me out the most. For the people watching, they've got the drone dog with the speaker duct taped to its back walking around. Oh my gosh, that freaks me out.
It's creepy.
Oh, just the sound of that click click. That's the part that would get me. Like, one, it doesn't stop. It's Michael Myers coming after you.
Control the soul's desire for freedom.
That's insane. Anyway, sorry. Go on.
So it has a 99.7% survival rate.
Yeah.
99.7.
Yep.
And they are locking down to this degree 2+ years out with a 99.7% survival rate.
Yep. Well, it's not just that, but for some reason the message has come across that there can be 0 cases.
Yeah, because in spite of all of these measures, their cases are going up.
Yeah. Yeah, but it has to be 0 cases. Why is that? Why is 0 cases the measure? You know?
I'm telling you. Chicken pox parties, COVID parties.
Oh, I'm just wondering why. I think we've corrupted it that we think that 0.
It's even possible.
Well, yeah, that it's possible that. I mean, let's face it. Whoever made it, whether it was our government or theirs, doesn't matter anymore. It's here. It's on us. It's with us. You know, we have to learn to live with it, I think. And it almost feels like, I mean, to me, it feels like the ultimate fascism.
Yeah.
Where governments use it to control. At the same time, the corporations that the governments like or want invested get a lot of strength out of it as well. Like, we're moving towards a modern day feudalism.
It's insane.
And what I mean by modern, so feudalism is the economic model where you have lords, and then the peasants live under the lords, work for the lords, and live for the lords. And like the lords are going to be the corporations, and we're all going to be their peasants. Like, we'll live in
like we do now.
Pfizer stand, and some other people will live in, Walmart stand, and then there'll be the Amazon stands, and Amazonovania or Amazonovania.
It was like Fortopia.
Yeah.
He tried to create it then.
Yeah, and that's what it feels like we're heading towards. And I almost reading into that Carl Schwab.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of his thoughts on it, where the corporations will be the big driver. And I don't know. I think we're screwed. But anyways, yeah, go on.
So sad.
Mm-hmm.
So, since the introduction of Lamb, several occult groups and individuals following in Crowley's footsteps, he's a god to a lot of people, have claimed to have intentionally and successfully contacted Lamb. The idea is if Crowley did it, I can do it. So, a Lamb contactee, Michael Bertrow, went on to say that he viewed Lamb, after contacting him, as subterranean Lucifer.
Wouldn't Lucifer be subterranean Lucifer? Or is
I don't know.
hell on a different, not subterranean? Because we always see it as subterranean.
Yeah.
And maybe
maybe
that comes from the Greek Hades, how they always depicted Hades in Greece, how you had to go into a cave and cross a river. And I don't know, I'm not up on my Hades theology, but maybe that's why.
So he goes on to say that knowing Lamb is to know a welling up from the unconscious or subconscious of yourself, the inner knowing of Lucifer. So he postulates that these beings, these Luciferian beings, are within all of us, and that by opening up these magical portals, doing these incantations, you actually bring up that part of us that is subconscious or unconscious.
Can I just say that these creepy sex magic people that talk about doing sex magic and it brings out the demon are reverting my thoughts back to, yeah, let's be, back to Christendom and lay a sheet with a hole in it out and all that stuff.
It's interesting because there is this separation, so to speak, where some people who do magic, in quotations, are evil, while others who do magic are not. But for a long time, people who delivered babies or treated ailments with herbs were doing magic. Now we've got, people following in Crowley's footsteps, opening up portals, and they are black magic. But then we've got people blessing food to be the body of Christ and then eating it, and that's called white magic or good magic. But really, it's just a separation of magic.
Well, and also the bodily fluid exchange in the different two are vastly different.
Yes, if you're following, his sex rituals.
When we get into Aleister Crowley when he was in Egypt is probably one of the most shocking. And then, I mean, Aleister Crowley, just to cover this man's life, this man was squirted out on earth to live an extraordinary life.
Yeah.
Like his life is I'll tell you why they haven't made a movie about it yet, because R rating wouldn't cut it. Matter of fact, I don't think a triple X rating would cut it.
He was a bad dude, but he's followed by lots of people.
Well, he was wild, but also a British spy. Maybe there is some thoughts that all of his magic stuff may have been a way to get into the cult for the different intelligence agencies
that he worked with.
You could call it of the Allies prior to World War II and during World War II, because the whole time he's kind of a British spy at the same time, but he also has contacts in the OSS, the CIA after. He has contact, well, not the CIA. CIA wasn't around even before he died, but the OSS and the Army intelligence of the United States before that, the intelligences of France, the intelligences of Egypt. I mean, so he's got these government ties at the same time, which make you wonder, was he in there to implant and corrupt subversive people? I don't know.
I don't know, because the magic we find, say, in the Bible has rules, and you can't hurt people, and you can't do bad things, and love one another, all these things. His magic was do anything you want. All of it.
But then again, in our Bible there was a lot of hurting people and a lot of doing anything you want. And if you see the woman bathing on the roof of a building next to you, it can be yours, and you can steal her from her husband, and then you can cast her out because you feel guilty because you stole her from your husband. And we both grew up in another religion that has some notoriously other take what you want sexually
so it's interesting
instances ingrained in it. And yes, there is some justification that people have done around that, but if you boil it down, it was still that.
Yeah. So it's generally agreed that Crowley, with the Ala Mantra, intentionally opened a portal of entry and allowed the likes of Lamb and other similar entities a passageway onto the Earth world. So, like, he was the guy that opened the portal.
He built the Rainbow Bridge.
Yes. And they're considered extra cosmic influences not demons and other things, but it's also believed that the portal was further enlarged by a jet propulsion laboratory founder and rocket fuel scientist, Jack Parsons.
Yeah, Jack B. Parsons. That.
And the Scientology and Dianetics founder, L. Ron Hubbard.
And we will be getting into that in a future show because Parsons and Hubbard, they're all tied in together with him. And those two go through some crazy sitcom style or rom-com style situations with their everything. But yeah, go on.
So it is said that because of this, because of him opening this small portal and seeing Lamb, and then further enlarging the portal with the help of Jack Parsons and L. Ron Hubbard around 1945-46, that a monumental paradigm shift in human consciousness has taken place.
I still think 2012 is the time when they turned on that damn CERN. But go on.
So, in short, the gray aliens. Slight-bodied, big-headed, large dark eyes, mannequin creature-looking things. They are primarily an American phenomenon.
Yeah. And
it's interesting to know that all of the workings of Lamb were done here.
in New York specific.
Yeah.
Well, wait a second. When it came to Parsons and Hubbard, I think that was in the Mojave Desert.
It's insane.
Yeah. Let's do another news story real quick. It is crazy when you think about the hold on, I'm trying to get this all set up. But anyway, so a young lady in why is
Was it in Florida?
no, was it in Florida? Automatically right to Florida.
Florida man. Florida woman in this case.
So okay, here we go. I've got it set up. Sorry guys, I'm trying to learn how to do all this stuff on the fly. So a Virginia skydiving lady, she fell. Here, I'll pull the story up and read it for everyone. Okay, so a Virginia skydiving lady, she jumps out of the airplane. Jordan Hitmaker, 35. So they were doing a skydiving jump at 13,500 feet.
Ooh, okay.
Off the ground, maybe. Or maybe that's the total height I don't know what height the ground is, but unless she's jumping onto a peak, a rather high peak,
Yeah,
it's a long fall. Anyways, she broke her back leg and ankle when her parachute got entangled with her leg and caused her to hit the ground at 125 miles per hour.
It didn't even slow her down?
Well, it might have slowed her down a little bit. You know, our brother, when he was in the service, fell out of airplanes.
I intentionally.
Yes. And did you know that he cooked in hot once?
No.
Yeah. You should ask him about it one time. Partially deployed canopy, cooked in hard.
Oh my gosh.
So this lady broke her back, leg, and ankle. I don't know why you're even mentioning the ankle when the leg and the back are broke. That's like afterthought breakage.
And her left pinky toe.
You know, and lost a nail. Okay, so she was falling with her instructor, but when she pushed away after 10 seconds of free fall, something went wrong. She pulled the cord that was supposed to release her pilot chute, which is used to deploy the main chute, but it got caught and tangled with her leg, and she tried to fight to free it. her reserve chute deployed, and the jolt of it caused the jolt it caused resulted in the main chute breaking free. The force of the main chute inflating caused both canopies to fly away.
No.
Now, it would be rough watching your canopies fly away, but not for long. Let's just throw that out there. I didn't have any thoughts because I was spiraling, so I did not know what was going on. I was just in strategy mode. The woman crashed back to earth on her right leg, bounced, and ended up on her back, she said. I hit with my left leg first, then I bounced. Hit her on her left leg, sorry. And then bounced off my butt and face planted, and that's how I know I broke my back. There was just an extreme burning throughout my lower back and down my legs, according to Hitmakers. First, I tried to push myself off the ground, and when I couldn't move anything, my first thought was I was paralyzed, and I was yelling that out. I never heard sounds like that come out of my body. I screamed blood-curdling screams. I can't imagine. But I'm going to give it to her. This lady,
Look at that big smile on her face.
she's got to have an extreme fight ingrained into her body, because had I fallen at that height and hit the ground and bounced and all that pain, I'd have checked clean out. I would have went into shutdown mode. I don't think I would have made it. First, I tried to push myself off the ground, and when I couldn't move anything, my first thought was I was paralyzed and was yelling that out. Sorry, I already read that. Hitmaker had been skydiving since 2015 and was seeking to obtain a license to solo jump when she made her 16th jump November 14th, according to the report. She was helped within minutes of crashing and was flown to a hospital. When my back broke, some of the pieces of my vertebrae went into my spinal canal, she said. They said, we don't know what kind of mobility she's going to have, but they didn't think she was going to be paralyzed because I could wiggle my toes. I was very thankful to be alive. That was my thought I had most often. Hatmaker said, I dig the name Hatmaker.
Mm-hmm.
If your last name's Hatmaker, how do you not go into making fedoras? I had a lot of hope that I would walk again. Even though I couldn't lift my legs or move them back and forth, I had a lot of hope that I would do everything I wanted to do again. One thing on Hatmaker's to-do list was to visit Mount Everest, something she had initially planned to do days after her fateful jump. So she was going to go to Everest days after her fateful jump.
Is she trying to die?
She's got a lot of money to spend on that trying to die. I mean, you know, that moment I could only lift maybe half an inch off the bed. It was just so great to conquer a milestone.
Falling to earth at 125 miles an hour?
She could lift her legs and
Okay.
Move herself. It was a sign of progress, and I was really thrilled and excited. It just gave me more motivation to keep going. 3 months after the accident, Hatmaker began walking. So she's walking again. It doesn't feel real. It feels like so surreal that even happened. But I'm thankful that the accident happened. I feel like there's like a lot of, this girl says like, and the typer types like a lot. You skip some of that, Valley Girl. Like a lot of growth that came out of it. And I really think there's opportunity in tragedy, she said. You can always find something positive, even if you can't see it now. There's a light at the end of the tunnel, and you're going to be better for whenever you're going through. Now,
she wants to do it again one day?
She hopes to resume skydiving. Don't tell my family. We'll see what happens when I get to the plane door. But got a little quick video to play.
Guys, we're here. Back from surgery. Update number 1. Surgery number 3. Feeling pretty good. Ankle's burning, but so is my love for you.
This is what she asked me.
Does she have the video of her
I got
falling?
some granny pins around my thighs, which is nice.
No,
I'm sure
I
Dad is
haven't been able to
excited
find
about
video
that.
of her falling.
They're about as big as the parachute that got me.
Oh no.
But look at her. She's up and moving around. She's wearing a back brace. I mean, this chick is tough as nails.
Yeah.
You know why I'll never have this happen?
Because you're not going to go skydiving?
Because I'll never throw myself from a perfectly good airplane.
Yes.
Ever. Unless it's, I'm not throwing myself, someone else is throwing
I've
me.
asked our brother often why he hasn't told our grandma about his coming in hot. And okay, look at the spine picture they just showed right there. Okay, so for those just listening, but they're showing the spine. Looks like it's on would that be CT or MRI? I don't know. But they're showing the spine. You can visibly see in that sixth vertebrae up that it is in pieces.
Destroyed.
And she has gained scoliosis. She's probably lost 4 inches of height. Just, man,
That's insane.
it's wild. Wow.
And she's going to do it again.
But yeah, she's walking. She's mobile. It's a tough chick. We'll finish it out on the video. She's walking on her normal foot. She's got a little bit of balance going on. I mean, yeah, this chick don't play. That is a very, very impressive young lady. Man.
Let's go through some of the chat. Hi,
Yes.
King.
Yeah.
So
good
he
to see
says
you,
the
man.
creature that Crowley saw is evil from another dimension, calling itself Lamb. In other words, it's mocking Christ as by going by or calling itself Lamb of Christ. That's I've heard that a lot.
Yeah,
It's evil. Well, I would argue that evil people cannot summon good things.
yeah, I was
so
gonna say.
anything he summons,
I was gonna
I don't
say,
care
yeah,
if it's a neighboring cat, whatever it is that he summons, it can be good.
the cat's good. Here, kitty, kitty.
Here, kitty. King says, if you guys ever seen the Terminator movie, that's
Boom.
what we thought about
We
with
have
Shanghai.
seen that. We've seen that documentary, but it was incorrect. Skynet doesn't start it. It's CCP net that starts the Terminator.
That's how it starts.
They've got the ability to do just all of that crazy stuff. So yes, that documentary is coming true. It's just, it's not happening here. So the kid the lady, what was her name that played the good guy in Terminator's mom? What was his name? Jack's mom or whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
She's gonna have to go to China and attack Chinese Skynet.
So King says CERN opening portals goes back to the Tower of Babel.
Dude,
It
okay.
does, because the gist of it was that Parsons desired to take the spirit of Babylon, the whore of Babylon, and invest it or implant it in a human being.
Well, and let's talk about the CERN real quick. So CERN kicked off in 2012. That's when they first turned it on and it found the God particle and just played with all of the universe like it doesn't matter, like we don't.
We jump timelines. Now we have
I'm telling you. And that was the year that the Mayan calendar said it was going to end, but no, they broke that one. And maybe the end was the Age of Aquarius coming or whatever. But they broke that. Now we're on like this hell path. And so while we're on this, I mean, Dementia Man is our president and
Dementia Man.
and then it's like
he needs a cape.
Our media is trying to tell us that, yeah, we should
And
talk
now CCP television is
to kindergartners
bringing on
about
Terminator.
we should talk to kindergartners about and yeah, so they broke us. They put us on the hell timeline. It's like what was that show? Event Horizon, where the spaceship goes out and it goes through a wormhole and then hell comes alive in there.
Ta-da!
The whole Earth, hell's alive. There's a guy on fire in space. You ever seen Fire in Space? It looks
Thank you,
like
sir.
liquid. Oh, all right, here we are. Yep. So And then the opening of CERN. You go and watch the opening ceremonies of it.
Yeah.
It looked like an occult ritual. They're wearing robes. They're all goofy. The robes are, black and Yep. We're there.
How do we jump back?
Turn CERN on backwards.
Is there a way? Can we just fire it up in reverse?
I don't know. Does it? Is it a manual transmission?
We know how to operate those.
But we're there. We hit the hell timeline. Right now. Yeah. So
King says she is fully medicated and is on cloud 9.
oh yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
That
like,
first one. Yeah.
Let's see how good you're feeling in about 4 hours when your nerve block wears off.
13,000 feet. Deseret Peak, right?
Forget it.
That's 13,000 feet.
I once fell down the stairs, and I thought that's how it ended.
No,
This is it. This is how it
I
ends.
kid you not. Yeah. 13,000 feet. I mean, imagine looking down. Okay, when you're up at 13,000 feet, what does a 40-acre field look like? It looks tiny. 125 miles an hour.
Gosh.
It's insane.
So
insane. She made it.
let's finish with this.
And then we got one more story to end out on.
If AleisterCrowley let Lamb into the Earth world, is he still here?
What if he let?
Because
Okay,
Lamb is
no.
not a person. It is a subcategory of entities.
I'm going out on a limb. Okay, so let's say these entities are on a different dimension, but a different world in a different dimension, multiverse. This theory I can't explain because it's deeper than I have knowledge for. But what if when he brought Lamb here, and that was an evil world, when they turned on CERN or whatever, when he did that, what if Jesus went there?
No.
And that world is now reverting to good, and they're freaking out about it. Like, I made my neighbor who's sick a souffle the other night. This is horrible. What happened? And we're over here going, what's going on with our world? And they're like, our president speaks normally and doesn't, stumble over his words and can walk upstairs and doesn't, have a dog that bites all his Secret Service agents.
Oh my gosh.
And it reversed in a different dimension. They're freaking out because they're going
opposite.
They're going good. And we went through.
Where is the portal?
We went through the
Give
event,
it up.
We went through the event horizon.
Can I go through the portal?
Okay,
I am almost to the point where I want off the planet.
Do you want to go there now, though? I mean,
I don't know.
I would want to wait until they
got it all fixed.
Until the planet that Jesus has gone to good planet. I would kind of, but we got to end on a happy note.
Happier. Anything's happier.
This is
Getting a root canal's happier.
This is a happy note.
Okay, let's hear it.
We're going back to Shanghai.
Oh.
So.
Grand Theft Fish?
Grand Theft Fish. So in Shanghai, while they're on lockdown, a brilliant video of a drone catching fish from a pool. Probably not a swimming pool. They probably have a different meaning for pool. This is where it says brilliant, I'm thinking it's British. So from a pool in lockdown Shanghai is doing the rounds on the internet, and you have to hand it to people for improvising everything sitting on their balconies. A harsh COVID lockdown has effectively turned the capital city of China into a ghost town. Robot dogs have been in the news. We just showed them, and we heard it talking and clacking down the road for patrolling the deserted streets as residents wait out an unceasing Omicron outbreak. But several videos have emerged over the past month documenting the dystopian state of Shanghai. Recently, a drone shot video went viral after the multi-rotor aircraft doubled as a fishing gear for a starved resident in a high-rise building.
Oh.
The drone's reflection is clearly visible on the pool's surface. All right, I'm just going to play the video. But, okay, in Utah where we're at, and maybe all over the U.S., it is illegal to fish with a drone. Nope, that is a dang pool. That's someone's reflecting pool.
That's koi.
That's someone's...
Is koi delicious?
That's, well, they're colorful carp. That's, oh my gosh. So someone's got their fancy meditation pool. Next thing you know, he's going to be dropping cat chocolate bars into someone's meditation sandbox that you rake. What do they call that? Peace gardens.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, but this guy, he went into someone's meditative pool.
Well, no one's taking care of the fish. Look how hungry that fish was. As soon as
that
they
fish was in on it. Oh, look at this. I've got to watch it again. I could watch this all the time. Check him out. Bloop. There it is.
dinner.
Oh, and then the drone takes off. That is fantastic.
Did he successfully eat the fish? Do we know?
Wondered, I mean, imagine the commercial, the drone commercial, from drone to pen. We deliver the best fish. That is awesome.
All right.
Oh my gosh.
So-
and I'm sure the fish is hungry because
No
It's
one
not-
is feeding them.
it's not like this lockdown is a lockdown where you are locked down, like in your yard, or they've got people locked in their houses and they've got little clacker dog robots walking the streets.
Yeah.
This is how Skynet starts. They've got a speaker duct taped to it. Next thing you know, the thing's going to have like a red eye so you can see it at night. And then they're going to put a gun on it or knives on its front claws or something.
King says, I do not get that. They're taking off the mask mandates, but COVID is going crazy in other places. Did you see that the airlines announced no mask mandates?
No, that wasn't it was judged in court.
Yes,
federal
but
court.
But the airlines announced it during flights,
Oh yeah.
and they
Everyone
were like,
cheered.
"Woo!" Everyone taking their masks off.
Everyone's dancing, everyone's
then-
happy.
At the same time, this shit's going on in Shanghai.
And for an Omicron. Now what does Omicron do? I've kind of got lost in all the different letters.
What we do know about viral infections is every variant, or the way the virus actually changes, it always changes to be a positive change for the host. So, and it does that because it wants to survive. So, viral infections start out unknown, really crazy, and then they change. Is that a dog?
Yeah, but they're letting the dog down to do business. But they're on the third floor, so they
Scoop
can't.
it up and toss it out the window. What do you mean you're letting the dog
I
down?
would throw it at robots. But anyways, go on. So viral loads. Now, yeah,
So Omicron is
because viruses die
markedly-
if the host dies.
correct.
Yeah.
So it is. It's just the way that they change to maintain survival rates.
Poor dog has to be freaking out for most of that.
And then King says, I don't know if you ever heard, but AleisterCrowley is also connected with Loch Ness. So I looked it up.
Yes. Okay. Now,
So Crowley,
we can't dive into this yet. This has to be in future shows. But it also ties into what's that band's name? Led Zeppelin.
we got to drain the lock. There's a demon in there. Drain the lock.
Betsy, I'm telling you.
Drain the lock.
Look, they're letting the dog. So they let the dog down. The dog's just out roaming around. And then when they're done,
No.
they bring the dog back home.
Look at it.
Well, the dog's probably not happy about it, but at least it gets to touch grass while the people are locked inside. I think that is
Lower grandma down.
that's
she
a
needs to go for a
kind
walk.
thing they're doing for the dog. I think the dog is very happy to do that. They looks like they've got a full body harness. The dogs got pit. Now, who was this guy that's out on the street? How did?
So lots of people are finding their way out. The
So,
problem is
What is this? Okay, so they're
in
bringing
the background.
and there's a guy down there, huh?
I'm like-
And looks at his dog as his dog literally is taking a Duke and points up and says, "Yeah, mess around, that'll be you." You see him? He pointed at that dog.
so
Now, maybe this didn't come from Shanghai exactly with the guy walking in the background, or they didn't edit it good enough, or maybe.
so
I still wonder if the news that comes out of China and comes to us,
if it's even real.
if it's real, if China isn't trying to get us amped up to further damage our economy. I still think that because China's economy's in a not too
Tailspin.
healthy place either.
Yeah. And maybe it's just that building that's locked down, because they're seeing a lot of that in kind of the, sparse areas around Shanghai. If one person in the
And it
building
might be-
tests positive,
Yep.
everyone in the building is completely locked down, unable to leave. But we're also seeing a lot of video emerging of people who are finding their way out
Oh,
to go
escaping, yeah.
find food. They're escaping
Mhm.
their
Well,
captivity,
the worst ones
and
are
they're
when
being
you
beaten in the streets and
or when you see the suicides. I
throwing
find-
themselves from the building.
And they're awful. But then again, I still wonder. Because we are in an economic war with China, and I still wonder if this isn't China, because China can't beat us militarily. Regardless of what anyone says, there's probably not any. Matter of fact, I would bank on there's probably not any 10 countries that could invade the United States in open warfare
Yeah.
all at once. There's probably not any 30. But then again, we spend more on our we spend more on our military than like the next 12 countries combined or something. It's insane. King says yes, Led Zeppelin bought the house. It was it Page that bought the house? Or Plant. Either way, they bought the house and it freaked them out. So they left, and the house. We'll get into the house. We don't want to dig into it too much, but yeah, the Loch Ness monster could very well be an Aleister Crowley sex demon,
Drain the lock.
and you always see that little shadow coming out of the water. It's
Uh,
backstroke.
True.
But yeah, Aleister Crowley is one of the most interesting human beings that has ever lived. And they're building religions
And if
off
he
this
really
guy.
did open a portal, I wish he would have never lived.
I still blame CERN, because that seems to be when it all went awry.
Yeah.
Not that we were on such a great path before that. I mean, the Federal Reserve happened in 1913, so yeah, that you could blame that for everything. There's a movement right now that we need to we need a separation of politics and economics, and I completely agree with that. They seem to they seem to be our government has proven that they can't handle the economic burden.
Yeah.
And maybe that on my other show, we had a lady on that did economics in college, and she wanted to get into politics. And she said a phrase during conversation: "Economics is hard," and that's true. And I think that should be on our dollar bill.
Economics is hard.
Welcome
to
pluribus
you.
unum.
Economics is hard.
Economics is hard. Nice banner in the green or whatever color they change it to.
That's
Yeah.
a show, people.
Yep. Anyways, King says, it could be scare tactics. Because I feel like China could do that to amp us up, to make us overreact. Because when we overreact, it hurts our economy. It hurts the world economy, including China's. And China is, they're in a bad way too. And I think they're I think the world over. I don't know. We've come to the end of Keynesian economics, and maybe next time we'll try Austrian or something. I don't know. But yeah, a lot of people, look up Austrian economics. Interesting theory. I tend to like that one. Keynesian has proven to be one that is disastrous for us all. But thanks for joining us. Again, I am Jared, and this is Betsy. And we will, I think over the next couple weeks, we're going to just keep on this AleisterCrowley train. So we're going to have a couple of growth shows. Enjoy it. And we will be back on
Hopefully Thursday.
Thursday. That's the plan. We're going to try to keep to Thursday. Sorry, we've been buffoons lately. We're dialing in our stuff.
Have a great week.